Hey, 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 welcome back in. We got episode 16 on tap. Maverick, how we doing tonight?
Episode 16, Big Red. Looking forward to. I'm doing great tonight, my friend. Had a good weekend. Um, had a good conversation with Matthew. I know we've been trying to catch up with him. Matthew Zitsos, one of my started out as a account manager, customer relationship, and that's grown over the last 5 years since I've been down here in Charlotte, and consider him a good friend. And been trying to get him on just to talk about some of the cool things he has going on with his adventuring and his content creating and jiu-jitsu, wrestling, some family stuff, some Ric Flair stuff. Um, and we're finally able to catch up with him. Had a few snafus on the tech side to start, but yeah, a great conversation. But before we get too much farther, Red, I know I'm pretty empty. I know you are too. But we want to always start. What do you got in that old red Solo cup?
I got a little I think on the actual recording I said gin and tonic. It's actually gin and Sprite, so it's a little bit better actually. And now it's just kind of Sprite and Fizzle. So a little Sprizzle sauce in here. So what are you
Nice.
working with?
I had a little bit of Captain and Coke Zero, but I went a little hard in the paint last night, so I didn't want to do too much of hair of the dog. But right now, it's a little bit of Coke Zero and a lot of ice cubes and a lot of humidity dripping here. So, cheers to episode 16, my friend. It was great talking with you and Matthew on the episode. So, cheers to episode 16.
Cheers. Yeah, we had a really fun time talking with him. Super interesting guy. He's got a lot going on. Um, an hour long conversation. You and I said this. An hour long conversation is just not going to be enough for him to really start diving into everything he could have gone into, which is just time restraints and everything like that. But it was super fun chatting with him. Super interesting guy. He's got a lot of interesting life experiences. Got a lot going on. So it was. I enjoyed it. Super engaging guy. Like you said, we had 20 minutes of computer delays because I couldn't get my computer to work, which was kind of funny because we've finally got him on lock for the interview, and then I just can't get on the horn. So isn't that par for the course? But we did it. We lassoed the interview in, got everybody in the same place at the same time. So it was super fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, just really cool stories and his trip to Ecuador and some of the travels he's had, and um, really cool experiences that he's been able to go on that I'm kind of pseudo jealous of and want to be able to go do that at some point. Um, but yeah, just a really good interview. Appreciated very much having him on, even though it took a few times. But good things come to those who wait, and it's always good catching up with you, my friend. And again, if we're always looking for people. We were talking before we started recording of people that just want to come on and share their story. I mean, one of the easiest things that people should be able to do is come on and talk a little bit about themselves. Not everybody wants to talk about themselves all the time, but if you have a unique story or you just want to come on and shoot the breeze with Mark and I, we'd love to get you on the schedule and talk with you and throw an episode out there. If nothing else, you get to catch up with two of us. We get to catch up with you. We have something there out there in the webosphere that you can always go back and listen to or share with people. And just would really like to get you on. So we'll continue to reach out to folks. But if you have any interest in joining us, please reach out. It's never a bad thing to reach out. We'd love to get you on. So don't hesitate. And again, as always, appreciate the handful of you that are following us semi pseudo religiously. I know we get questions all the time. When's your next episode coming out? So we're gonna keep pumping them out as long as we have guests, and it may not be one a week. It may be two a week. It may be one a month. Depends on the frequency. But we very much appreciate you for listening and supporting us. And just hope you have a great week.
Absolutely. Can't echo that enough. Give us a shout, give us a holler. We'll keep cranking these out as long as we got guests. That's the biggest thing is trying to get people on and just talk. So, um, like you said, Matt, if there's an interesting story out there to be told, we want to hear it. Uh, we try to have people on from all different life experiences and stuff like that. So, we want to hear from from you out there doing stuff that we've never done before. That's kind of the prerequisite is, hey, we wanna chat with you about whatever you've got going on. So, give us a shout, give us a holler. But with that, let's hear from Matthew Zitsos.
Let's do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And we're back. And special guest today. We've been trying to get our schedules to align, but Matthew Zitsos has been gracious enough to join us and chat through some stuff with us. And he has an interesting story and an interesting background, and a lot of cool things on his plate that he has going on. And him and I met when I moved down to Charlotte, and worked through work and some different things. We got to blessed to meet each other and got to know him quite a bit. He just has a really great story and a bunch of cool things he has going on in his life. So we wanted to get him on and share that and share it with you all. But before we do, wanted to see, Big Red, what do you got in the cup today for episode, what is it, 16, 15?
Episode 16. We're live and rolling. I got a little gin and tonic going. So
I didn't know that was a part of this.
The whole don't spill the mixy thing. But you're good. No, you're good. I got a little bit of Captain and Coke Zero, not too much because I went a little too hard in the paint last night. But we're
let's see if there's anything on my bar, and there was OxyClean and Campari. So I don't know.
You probably don't want to do it. You probably don't want to mix them.
No, I don't think so. I might just go solo. No solo. Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so I really appreciate you jumping on with us. We just wanted to go through a whole list of things and see how far we get. Wanted to start with the adventure. I know you and I you've told me a couple stories of a bunch of cool stuff that you got to do. I know recently you said you got to go on a boat up in Alaska with Trident, and do some cool fishing and that kind of stuff. And then you were able to go down and do some cattle wrangling and some different things. So just wanted to catch up with you on all your adventures and see what you've been up to and some of the things that you and I had been chatting about. Just I think it's really interesting and some stuff that I know eventually I'd like to get out and do. So I commend you for going out and doing it, especially while you can.
Yeah. Lately I went to Alaska, but as I'm sure y'all know, in your mid-30s, weddings start to take up a lot of your spending money and your travel spending money specifically. And as not cool as that sounds, luckily I have some good friends that throw some good parties for their weddings. But at the same time, I'm about to leave for the next couple weeks and be in between New York and California for weddings, and then maybe some travel picks up in the fall and winter, maybe goes south of the equator in the winter. But yeah, that would be what I have on the agenda. In the past, like you said, Alaska, beautiful place. Didn't realize that. It's a really incredible place.
Yeah, and you said that you got to go out on this cool boat. And then you had to go out on a separate boat from that boat and kind of do some fishing and some salmon fishing.
Yeah, so we lived on a boat for 3 days, went on little smaller skiffs, and it was absolutely beautiful. Being I'm a fan of a cold plunge. Getting to swim in Alaska is a pretty cool thing. But yeah, there were lots of bald eagles. Being Michigan guys, I think y'all have bald eagles up there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
We don't really have. I've never seen a bald eagle, but seeing a bald eagle, I used to kind of think that a turkey. Benjamin Franklin apparently wanted our national bird to be a turkey, and I heard that and I thought, I could see that. I kind of like that. Don't take ourselves too seriously. Yeah. And then, but seeing a bald eagle swoop down and pick up a fish out of the water, soaring above your head. It makes sense why they chose the bald eagle over the turkey. But yeah, Alaska, awesome place. I would highly recommend it.
What brought you up there?
So I went with a vendor of the company that I work for, and we called or the vendor is called Trident, and they source fish. They fish, and the primary fish that they fish for is pollock, but they do a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, they since we buy fish from them, they invited me to come up, and I went up and went fishing with them.
Was it just like a sourcing thing, like to show like the quality of fish that they're sourcing from? Is
No,
that
it's more
basically, or
just
was it
like
just
a
for fun?
clients, like taking clients out.
Yeah, like a relationship building.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's super cool.
Maybe the next time I go, it will be showing where they're sourcing it because it is
No,
wild caught domestic fish. It's pretty cool.
no, that's sweet. So I've heard little bits and pieces from Veneman over the last few months. Uh, One of the ones that he highlighted was apparently you've got connections down in Ecuador of some sort to travel down there.
Yeah. So I go down to Ecuador. Been down to Ecuador a couple times now. Hope to go down more. We're working on filming like a little documentary down there,
Hmm.
and hope to pick that back up. It's about a friend of mine. His family has this incredible tradition, uh, and it's a tradition of cattle drives, but really the culture of the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, and how kind of these fighting bulls play a really pivotal role in that culture, and preserving and what it takes to preserve a culture like that, and the effort and money and like just bullishness on tradition, no pun intended, but like
Yeah.
they really are bullish on keeping this tradition alive, and it's a tradition that's totally worthy, that I'm totally sold on. And yeah, there's nothing like getting an adrenaline rush like that, and and then having the community around to kind of feed off of that. It's an addicting feeling for sure.
How how many cattle, like how many heads of cattle are we talking? Are we talking like 100, or are we talking
Yeah,
like a
like
thousand?
hundreds, like 600.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how many people are you riding
Oh,
with?
on different plots, so they aren't all one like one run. So we'll go to one plot, get one like let's just say like 150 cattle, or like a smaller, more feisty plot. We'll have just like say 50, and you bring them in um, separate runs, and then like so you bring them in, you vaccinate them, you get them medicated, and then you mark them if they're young. You brand them and mark them as your own, as there are other farms, and then you let them back out, and they kind of just find their way back to a plot, and the plots are spread over a piece of property that is very close to a national park that's pretty famous down there. But yeah,
How many people are you riding with at an individual or at
so
a specific time?
the big one is like I want to say it's like probably 100, 150 is the max, I think. It's a mix of like the family that runs it, and the Chacras, who are the like indigenous cowboys of the area, and the Chacras just also it's like they're working second generation and trying to bring the younger generation or second generation. I mean, it's like literally 400 years of generations. It's centuries of generations, but it they're trying to, just like so many other things, they're trying to continue that tradition into the younger generations, which can be difficult, but that's part of kind of what I would like to do is just show how cool these dudes are,
Hmm.
and some women too. But yeah, just show how cool, and kind of like the sex appeal of it almost, and like this like kind of just like ruggedness that doesn't exist in many other places.
No, that's super
that's
cool.
pretty cool. And I think you said there's no beverages that are being consumed on those horses either. I know you told me a couple cool stories, a couple interesting
Oh
bits
yeah,
and pieces.
they get rowdy. Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of like
they throw a lot back, is what.
yeah, you got to get a little rowdy because like even myself, last time I was down there, my horse was not like I mean it was good. It was a fine horse. I was my saddle was a little bit messed up, and I was like running not like behind, but I was like running a little bit slower, and my horse gets kicked in the face by another horse, and like not like there's an accidental like kicking in the face that like horses just can like that can happen, but this
Yeah.
was like a horse did it on purpose, and it was aimed at my horse's face, and it was like I thought the horse was gonna die. It, like stumbled a couple feet like sideways, and then when it got kicked in the face, it didn't die. But when it got kicked in the face, it it was like it hit the reins, so the
Yeah.
knot or the like the piece of metal that the rein was attached to snapped, and so I only had one. I could only pull the horse one way, so I was doing circles. And
So you were only going left?
yeah, I was only going left, and then meanwhile there are bulls running. There's all sorts of madness going on, and thank God the dude that whose horse kicked me, like he was like, "Oh, is everything okay?" And he like saw me just doing donuts back there, and he came back and helped me like tie
Oh
a
man.
knot and help me get situated. And we just kind of like ghetto rigged a knot and got it working. But meanwhile, his horse was also pregnant, which is
Yeah.
why he kicked mine. And so I was trying to control his horse, his pregnant, really fiery horse that probably shouldn't have been ridden just because
Yeah.
like she was really kind of like hot physically. Like I had my hand like on her chest, and it was like she was like secreting like this like hormonal sweat that was just
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And so I got like my foot stomped by his horse, boot lost the boot. It was just madness. But then I got back and I was able to kind of get some street cred because I like got back without being one super freaked out. And I think there is just an element of like there if you freak out down there, you're or in anything like that, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, you
Freaking
gotta
out is
stay. You
always the
gotta.
worst thing
So
to
not
do.
only did your horse have a concussion, but you're only able to pull one way, and it's probably in his head. It's trained so
That
much
horse is
to
walking around.
go. Yeah, you're only supposed. They're trained to only go the way you're pulling. So
Yeah.
you're turning into NASCAR at that time. You're only going left.
And at a certain point, like I don't know how to get the through around the like volcanic plains of Ecuador. Like I have no sense of direction. So in that scenario, I would have only been reliant on my horse knowing how to get back, which is something you can like pretty like safely rely on. At the same time, my horse, like you said, was just severely concussed, and yeah. So, but
I
we
mean,
made it.
you had to be worried about like if your horse bucks you off right there, like getting trampled and like everything like
So we
that too,
weren't
right?
running at that point. Like you're kind of worried about that, but that's just kind of like a part of riding a horse a little bit. And like I'm very top heavy. That's what I'm always most worried about when I'm on any horse is just how top heavy I am. Like if it's always good to know how to ride bareback because then you can kind of feel how to stay on that horse. But the times I've ridden bareback, I mean, it's like it's a little sketchy, and because I have nothing to hug the horse with, like my legs just don't go far enough that I can't hug the horse at all or put my feet under it at all. And I'm just like 90% of my weight is my torso. So if we're jumping and stuff, it's like I'm holding on for dear life a lot of the time. But yeah,
Jeez. Wild.
Yeah.
So we kind of hinted at it a little bit there. We'll pivot into kind of like the second thing we had on our list for you, the content creation piece. This is kind of an interesting thing, and it sounds new-ish into your repertoire. The last maybe couple of years.
Yeah, newish. Last couple of years. Um, I started doing jujitsu like probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Grew up wrestling my whole life. Was pretty good at that. And so after college, just wanted to do something similar to wrestling. Started to do jujitsu. Liked it a lot. Saw a video of myself doing it, and thought, that looks pretty interesting. It just looks, yeah, interesting. I bet you people would like to see me do that. So I had a buddy come up and film me, posted like 2 videos. They got a lot of attention in the jujitsu world, and I built up a like decent sized following pretty quickly. It is an exhausting thing that I don't know if I have a ton of love for is content creation, like just like making like little highlight reels of myself. I don't. I mean, I think I'll do it again at some point, but I've taken a break now just because it's like one, you can just get so focused on it and think it's this like super viable thing. I'm confident that if I wanted to make really engaging content, that if I was consistent enough with it and whatever I'm going to be doing, I can make interesting enough from my perspective. But uh, but yeah, I feel like you have to ask yourself why you're doing it, and I kind of asked myself why I was doing it, and I didn't have a great answer as to why. So I haven't quit, but I'm not as like hot on it, and I just think it's something with today's day and age that we feel like you have to do it, and even like especially with me, who I have had like success with pretty little effort. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's something that I don't totally know if I have that love for, and when I do it, I want to be like happy doing it and like know why I'm doing it, know it's a good reason that I'm doing it. So I think I'll find that reason maybe at the end of this summer, but I'm gonna enjoy this summer for now.
Do you think if like you pivot towards like you had kind of alluded to like a little bit of filmmaking, like instead of it being like content creation necessarily like Instagram related stuff, do you think like it it sounds like you're more interested in like almost like docu-series or things like that, like
Yeah,
travel vlogs almost?
that would be awesome. Uh, that takes so much time and effort. That's the beautiful thing of what I was doing is it gets pretty good traction, and I don't really have to do that much. I go do jujitsu a couple times a week, anyways. I just have a camera person there filming, and voila, you have some good content. But I think if I can figure out how to incorporate that for right now, that's kind of where I'm at, and then focusing on one my job, which pays my bills and people rely on me for, which I don't want to let things that people don't rely on me for and don't pay my bills distract from that too much. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is something that I will start playing with again in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I think it's hard, right, when you're trying to figure out if you've got a passion for it or not, and like if you don't necessarily and it doesn't feel like that right off of the jump, like hey, how much time or how much energy do I put into it? How much do I keep trying to push through that? Like is this just a phase? Is this something I'll grow out of type of thing? And like you start asking yourself those questions and try to sort through it, and you kind of with just the amount of other things that can occupy our time, you kind of arrive at that pivot point pretty quickly, right? Like
Totally.
it,
Yeah.
it's just, hey, this isn't going to be it, or this isn't worth my time. There's other things that I can pour myself into that I'm more passionate about, more interested in, want to try something different, all that stuff.
And
So
it's definitely worth my time to an extent. Just like showing, like, I mean, if there's stigmas out there about me and people like me, then like showing that they aren't totally credible and being a good role model for other like especially kids that might be in my position, that is definitely worth something and shouldn't be like looked down on at all. But yeah,
Yeah, and you've also been able to go to a lot of unique places. And I always like going back and looking at some of your stuff, where you've been, what you've been doing, and what you've been up to. Because it's always eventually here I want to start traveling again. So it's kind of cool to see the spots that you have been, and some of the stuff that you've been able to capture, to add to a potential list of some spots I would like to go, and that way I can maybe bounce some stuff off you. Hey, what'd you like?
let's clip this and then so I can give it to people to pay me to go to those places.
Yes,
And we can say,
exactly. That's what I thought. Eventually, you'd be
all
able to
right,
dovetail that in. Like
perfect.
I guarantee you would be able to get people to do that. I know. I think we've talked about that before, where it's
Now,
like, yeah, I'd be able to get people to foot the bill to get the content
I've known
and be able
people
to.
who were early and just like like they were essentially event planners, but they would do these like high net worth, uh, like CEOs mainly. She would like organize these trips to Tunisia or to Alaska or to like the like Moors or just like just take trips all over the place and charge like a additional fee on top of the cost of travel. And it was pretty. She was pretty like early for her day doing that, but she made a pretty decent little business out of it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like there's a lot of opportunity. Like you said, C-level people, people with a lot of expendable income, like those people want to dabble in that stuff to a certain degree, and the thing that probably steers them away from it when if they start going down that rabbit hole is like the time associated with planning it, right? So if you can take that off of their plate and kind of give them that itinerary, I feel like there's a market there.
there is. Yeah, I think Bourdain wrote the blueprint, and his was pretty focused on food. And I love food, but
Yep.
I'm on Anthony Bourdain level. But yeah, he really did write the blueprint on just like showing places that people might not even know exist. And also, I think there's so it's so easy to make content in a lot of ways, and you literally just need a camera. And there are people on YouTube that go to these places that you hear horror stories about as an American, and in reality, they aren't. They show that they can be sketchy, but there's a lot of beautiful things, and they might not totally be how exactly they're portrayed in the states. And I've noticed that. Like, I feel a lot. I don't. There's a lot of American cities that I feel sketched out in a lot more than like any of the South American cities I've been to. I'm not saying there aren't sketchy areas in the South American cities, in Central American cities, but like I haven't seen it, and I feel like it's pretty easy to to explore those areas without seeing the sketchy stuff. So just different.
Yeah, there's a guy I follow on YouTube. I forget what his channel's called. It's Mike something or other. And this whole summer he's been traveling in like Western China, and over in like all of the stands, and he's like kind of overlapped where possible with all of those like super like almost like unexplored areas, like the western part of China. I feel like almost nobody goes to because almost everybody's in like eastern China, where Shanghai and Beijing
Yeah,
and everything like that is over there, because you got all the surrounding countries that are over there too that bring you in, and he's over in the western part where all the mountains are and everything like that, and kind of
I
all those
would
countries over there. And
I would
what
really
he's
like to
shown
explore. Oh, sorry.
no, what he's shown is just like people are normal over there. Like it, like if obviously like there's the language barrier, and like that's tough to overcome to a certain degree, but like just showing that like people are trying to exist, and a lot of what exists out there in terms of like portraying these people is wrong. And like you get these things in your head, and it's more so like the oppression that those people are under that kind of dictates the way that they live versus how they actually want to be. Like they want to just live their life and be fairly normal people, right?
Yeah, totally. Central Asia, though, is a pretty wild place that I think is unlike any from what I've seen, which I haven't been there, so I maybe it is just like Missouri. I don't know, but but it does seem like it's just like from the animals that exist there to the landscape. It just seems like one of those places. It feels like a different planet. Um, with that though, I will say there's no continent like North America that makes you feel like you are on 100 different planets. I just even in the mountains of North Carolina this weekend, it was like just abundantly clear that I was in a rainforest, and it is a rainforest. It's a temperate rainforest, but I mean, it was just it rained the whole time. Without that though, just it's lush green, a lot of succulents. I mean, it is a really unique landscape. And then you go look at Alaska, and and then all the way down into the Southwest. Like it's just each of those is just so different. They could literally each of them could be their own planet. And if I just awoke from consciousness and had no like clue where I was, and you put me on each of those and had me in like a oxygenated suit, I would maybe believe that I was on a different planet. You know, it is just
You can just yeah,
Yeah.
outrageously different.
you wander from like the desert out west, and then like you keep going up the western coast. You got the redwoods of California up there, and like you keep going back east, and all of a sudden like you're getting into the Rockies and everything like that. You got Mount Rushmore, and you climb into like the Great Lakes region, then you come down to the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina and everything else, and then you got like New York City and everything with that. It's just you think about it in like those terms, it's just wild.
It is. Do y'all have the ability to look up if oxygenated is a word?
I think it is, yeah. I think you're good there.
I just said that and immediately said I just made up that word. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
No, I think you're good. Oxygenated, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right too, because I've brought few people up from North Carolina and other areas up to Michigan, and they've never seen a lake as big as Lake Michigan. Like you stand there and you look at it and it looks like it's an ocean. They're like, there's no way
Yeah.
this is not an ocean. But it's a huge freshwater lake. And a lot of people, it's the biggest lake, and they're mind blown. And then also too, growing up in West Michigan, it's even for me, for my family, for me moving down to North Carolina, it was mind blowing. Like it's like, oh well, you don't want to stay and live and raise a family here in West Michigan. You're gonna leave. And there, to your point, there's so many different unique places to go and visit and see in the world, and life is so short as it is in general, to not be able to go see some of that stuff. That's why I think it's always cool to see some of these videos of different places that people have been. To your point, to show you that it's not as dangerous or it's not as bad as what a lot of people think. There's all those stereotypes out there, and you hear about a bunch of stuff in the news and that kind of stuff, and puts fear in people to not want to go see it. But I don't know. It's, again, life is too short not to go out and do some of that kind of stuff. So if you can do it, I know you've done some of it, but if you can do it,
Can do more. Will do more.
Yeah, exactly.
Must do more.
It'll be cool to follow that journey along with you, just to hear those stories and to follow some of the stuff that you have going on.
We talk about other planets. This is totally off script here. This just like literally mental thoughts going on. If you had a chance to go to Mars with Elon, would you go?
Sure. Yeah. Ah, man. So like, am I like? Do I have to talk to him the whole time? Because I just feel like
I mean,
my brain space just would be like, man, I don't know if I can keep up with you, Elon. No, I would do it, assuming I got back here at some point, you know. But if I had to go and my life is just on Mars, if there was like a really good sales pitch by Elon Musk, I might do it, but it would need to be a damn good sales pitch.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah, I definitely would go. I definitely would go. I'm a huge Star
You
Trek.
you
If there,
don't get
if
to come back though.
that's fine. That's fine.
Quick.
I would love, man, if I could go do Star Trek and just be on the ship and just go
Yeah.
explore new worlds and just be in space and just go. I would do it in a heartbeat. I think I told you that, Big Red. I think I tell everybody that opportunity came up. I'd be the first one to sign up and get out of
Yeah, I
here
don't
and go
know.
explore different
I don't
things.
know the whole space travel thing. I'll let you guys go. Tell me how it is, and maybe we vacation there, something
You're
like
gonna
that.
be like a wrinkly prune by the time we get back.
Yeah, I mean, it takes what, like, now based on like current travel, it takes
It's
10, 20
you're
years,
not
something.
coming
Is it?
back.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
might be able to send video back, but yeah, Mark, this will be the last time the Elon's gonna see this, and he's gonna say that is a very mid-level candidate to go to Mars. He doesn't seem particularly enthused about it.
Yes,
I have
we're
to sell him on it. What's he providing? He hasn't clarified that yet. So,
yeah.
but once he sees it, he'll see, you know what, he's providing good honesty and feedback here. And
Yeah, he'll see it and he'll be like, I'm taking both Matts with me. We're taking both Matthews and we're going
see
going
Mars.
to Mars.
Yeah.
uh Yeah, so actually this weekend too, I was hanging out with John Din and his buddy Nick. I don't know, I think you know Nick. But they were talking a little bit about wrestling and jujitsu and your wrestling back in the day and how good you were. So I wanted to touch base on that and some of the
Yeah.
unique stuff that you've been able to do with wrestling and jujitsu, and any unique stories or anything cool you have from that.
I was the best person in the state of North Carolina at beating malnourished 103-pound like freshmen in high school. I was the absolute best. I was
Malnourished.
Goliath amongst twigs and twinks alike. And yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
I feel so bad for some of the people. Some of them, I gotta say, I think wrestling me and get because it was just like I'm sure y'all's high school experience. There was just like a shrimpy kid, nothing like medically wrong with him, other than he was a shrimp. And the wrestling coaches would target them for that 103-pound weight class. And I swear I've run into them, like some of the guys that I wrestled in high school as adults, and they're jacked now. I think that maybe getting their ass kicked so badly by me prompted them to just like go do some like pretty new science steroids or something. I don't know. Some of them like I ran into one recently, and he was like super jacked, and I thought, man, you're welcome, young sir. You are welcome. But yeah, no, it's a great sport. I'm glad I did it. It taught me a lot of life lessons, and I think I would have been super sheltered had I not. Just growing up in like in private schools, um, in really loving and caring and wonderful communities, I would not be not really have a great understanding. I feel like of like the real world and what like the average American is really like, and and wrestling is a pretty blue collar sport, whether you're in the cities or in the country, and yeah, going and being someone that looks really different and being good at wrestling and going to like a auditorium in the middle of nowhere, uh, South Carolina or North Carolina or Virginia, and having to wrestle in front of people. I remember it was like probably like my freshman or sophomore year. It took me a while to get good at wrestling. I started when I was like I think in the first grade, but the first couple of years I was trash. And then like middle school I started getting better. And then high school I was like pretty good. But I remember being in this auditorium, and I was in it was the first day of wrestling. There usually were 2-day tournaments, and it was the first day of wrestling, one of the last matches, and everyone. It was like one of those like kind of fishbowl auditoriums, like high school auditoriums. So it was like you had to go down to get to the
Hmm.
basketball court or floor,
Yeah.
and there was a track above the top, and there were just kids all lining the top. And I looked up in the middle of my match. I'm actually kind of getting like chills a little bit now, recounting, but it was just filled with kids. All of them watching me. All of them had never seen someone like me, and for sure, no one had ever seen someone like me abuse a malnutrition 103-pound kid like I was
Gee.
probably doing in that very moment. Just it was
Uh,
probably terrifying for all the other poor twigs. But yeah,
uh,
yep, it was a great feeling or great memory. I don't know about feeling, but great memory of seeing
yeah.
everybody and looking and knowing in that moment, all eyes were on me.
Yeah.
How many state titles did you win?
I won two state titles, and then I was runner up my sophomore year.
Okay. So
And
one at your junior and senior year?
yeah, it was pretty easy. Um, just like private school competition. I won other tournaments that were like tougher competition, so I like knew it wasn't that. But yeah, the private school competition was pretty easy. Was like 1 point away from being an All American, which would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah. I've been sweet.
Like my last wrestling match ever, and I had to go against the number two, um, or sorry, the number one person in the country. He's still wrestling. Like I saw that he was like in the hunt for Team USA still, and I had to. And he also went to a school that my brother went to up in New Jersey, but he smoked me in the second round, and I had to wrestle back from the second round in the consolations all the way to the blood round that night, like it almost 10 p.m. that night, and it was the most fun day of wrestling I've ever had, just because it was like 7, 8 matches, and all these schools that you like grew up hearing about, and I just was knocking them off one by one, and then it got to the last match, and I like did something wrong. I like did something illegal. It wasn't like dangerous or anything, but it was just a slip up, and I got a penalty point and lost the match. It was
Oh.
pretty. I don't think I've cried that hard as an adult since then, but I remember just sitting in Lehigh's Stadium in Pennsylvania, just bawling my eyes out for like a solid like 30 minutes. But yeah, it was just but it was kind of a relief. And then also a relief later that night, I weighed in that morning at 105 pounds. That night after dinner, I was 118 pounds. So I would have had to cut weight. I probably would have cut from like 113. I would have had to cut from 113 to weigh 107, 105 the next morning, which would have been brutal.
So Veneman alluded to you've got some sort of background or some sort of experience overlap somewhere with Ric Flair.
Yeah, grew up with Ric Flair.
What's the story there?
Grew up Ric Flair's son Reed, who was a great guy. Him and my brother grew up as best friends and wrestling teammates, and so we just like weirdly enough, Ric Flair was just like a part of my childhood, and like we would go to wrestling tournaments, we would travel with him, and really I didn't realize like it was until I was an adult, but like we were just with him at his like height, like his like in all of his glory, late '90s, early 2000s. It was like his peak stardom, and yeah, there are some great stories. One I don't really want to tell, but just really some wild stories of growing up with Ric Flair and
Yeah.
all that went on. Great guy.
So you were with him during his wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, Rolex wearing times, huh?
Yeah, I also have the like most vivid memories of like just like him talking about like moving his mom out of her house because she was getting too old and like eating bar nuts, like the peanuts at a bar. So it like that being said, just like to kind of humanize him, and I don't think I really processed as a kid how wheeling dealing, Rolex wearing, alligator shoe wearing, whatever he was. You know, I didn't really even totally remember or know that part of him. I just knew that like Mr. Flair.
So
Yeah.
you're just going to all the tournaments and just hanging out, and he's just like a normal dad. Had no idea
Yeah,
as much because you probably didn't watch a lot of WW. It had been WWF at that point.
no, and yeah, I didn't, and it was obvious like he wasn't normal because like everybody wanted his autograph. But yeah, to us he was pretty normal. Him and my
Yeah,
brother were tyrants. They like I mean they were just like a trouble. They were trouble, the two of them together. There's a lot of pranks, pranking like pizza delivery men, and just yeah, not bad, but like I could imagine like little troublemakers for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you probably like to your point, like your normal is all you know, right? So like your own experiences, like you're not like stepping back and like seeing yourself like a part of these things. You're just kind of in it and like you're just enjoying it as a kid. And as a kid, you don't know any different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, One thing I know you two guys have overlapped recently on saunas, cold plunges. I think Veneman, you said you
Yeah,
had mentioned
look
this
at
is
Veneman's
somewhat of a
skin.
recent thing.
man, look at that! Look at that
Look,
complexion, baby.
honestly though, look at Veneman's
He's
skin. Veneman looks like
he's
he's
glowing.
22 years old right now. That's
Yeah,
the first thing I noticed. I'm not even bullshitting right now. When Veneman got on this call, I thought, man, he looks a bit younger. Maybe he's got some lights or a filter on. Do you have like any
uh,
filter that you're
no,
using?
I wouldn't even know how to filter this thing. It took me a second to figure out how to send you the link,
You
but
hit 30 something and you start figuring out how to filter things.
yeah,
Uh, and,
but yeah, it's yeah, it was great catching up with you. I know you and I had talked about that for a while. When we were still directly working together, I had told you playing volleyball and stuff. I can't fit in my bathtub, let alone I would get 6 bags of ice from QT and try to put them in my bathtub after volleyball tournaments and be able to ice a third of my body at a time. And then I was talking about maybe buying a cold plunge, and you're like, well, yeah, I had a business partner and I were thinking about actually opening one. And then sounds like you're a year into that, but I've actually taken a few people there. I took my buddy Cody there on Saturday. Went to go hit the gym, and then after went over there, introduced a few people to it, and they're all about it. So
no, it's been a fun thing.
it's yeah. And then it's what style is it again?
It's like a Finnish sauna. So it's like a
Yeah.
large Finnish sauna. It's really, really hot. And the ice baths get really, really cold. And it makes for a really pretty, it's nothing special. It's been something that people have done for thousands and thousands and thousands of years all over the world. That was kind of our thought is like, it's not broken, don't fix it. Let's just provide a really hot, large sauna that a bunch of people can get in and be quiet and sit in a corner or talk to people they uh, don't know and socialize or bring people they do know. And yeah, and then it's been pretty successful and been a fun. Most importantly, it's been just like a fun project.
What got
Yeah, I
you
was
into it?
there. Obviously, yeah.
Sorry, say again.
What got you into it originally?
Wrestling, growing up wrestling, and just spending a lot of time in saunas. I just really enjoy a sauna. Um, Playing pickleball this weekend, I wonder if it might like spending so much sauna time as like a like young adult teenager might have like fried. I just sweat so much now. I was
Exactly. I was telling that to
it's
people. I'm normally a big sweater, but ever since I've been going in the sauna, I sweat it out there. But then I'll go like I was up for guys weekend and we were riding some e-bikes and pedaling. I was just drenched. And then I go to play volleyball and I am soaked and I has to correlate to being in the sauna or something because I am soaked all the time.
So I will say, if I do the ice bath, then I have like a solid like 15 minutes before I start sweating again. But I mean, just playing pickleball today, I was like my hands were dripping sweat. I was just I my shirt looked like I was in a pool. I mean, it was disgusting, honestly. But
Yeah, I did that when
it
when
might
my
just be
buddy
being a dude.
when my buddy Matt was down here. We played pickleball and I have a video of it's just I'm dripping, 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 like down the paddle, and I'm like, normally I sweat, but this is a different level. And then I tell people that and they're like, that's actually really healthy. Sweating a lot is must be really healthy or something because that's just
People
what
tell me
somebody
that. I think they're telling us that to make us feel better for looking like sweaty messes. Just
looking like we just got out of the pool
I-
and we haven't even been by
You're
water.
physically disgusting and revolting right now,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure you're healthy as a result. So yeah.
But yeah, it was cool though because every time I go, there's more and more people. So I try to schedule now first thing in the morning or like 8:30 when it's not super busy. We went at I think 11 on Saturday, and I knew it was going to be busy, but it was maxed out. There were 13 people in there, and then the cold plunges tend to get a little warmer because people hop out and they rinse off, and instead of waiting a little bit for their body temperature to come down, they hop right in the cold plunge, which warms them up quick. But yeah, I don't know. It's great. I think after volleyball is done here in a month and a half or so, I'm gonna upgrade to the unlimited package and just be able to go 2 or 3 times a week. I didn't realize how much water weight my body carried until you go in that sauna and then you slim right down because of all that water that's. But and the sauna's great. I love cold though, so the cold plunge is what does it for me. And they're big enough where my 6'6" body can fit in there. So no complaints.
Yeah.
I think Cody's gonna start going. A couple other people I brought are gonna start going too. So it's great. And then I was actually talking to Mark about it, and he's got an anniversary coming up. So him and his wife are gonna go check out one in Grand Rapids up in Michigan.
Oh, nice.
So it'd be interesting to see what they think about because first timers there was one on Saturday and they went in the sauna and it was like 200 or 212. I don't know how hot it was in there, but they were like 3 minutes and they were out, and then they like dipped in the cold plunge quick and then they left. They're like, yeah, this isn't for me. And then there's some people that come in there and love it. So it'll be interesting.
It's not for everybody, for sure.
No, so Mark and Brittany, I can't wait to get your feedback when you go to get what your thoughts are. But I love it. I'm gonna start going probably 3 times a week here in the next month.
See, I don't mind, like, I love the feeling of getting on my Peloton and just like being drenched when I'm done. Like, that to me is like a really good workout. I feel so much better the next day. Like, I feel like all those toxins are getting out of your body and like it's just a total flush. Like, I love that part of it. So I don't know. I've never done like a super long, I couldn't tell you the last time I actually sat in a sauna, but the sweat I don't think will bother me. It's going to be the cold that kills me. I know that because I used to try to do like different parts of my body that would be sore. I would try to do like semi soaks in high school for football. Like if my knees were bothering me, like I'd literally like sit up to my knees or like just put the bottom half of my legs into like ice water, and I hated that. So I think the cold plunge is going to just absolutely torture me, but I'm super excited to try it. I think it'll be fun.
Awesome. Let us know how it goes.
Perfect.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, and just wanted to wrap up. I know listening to another podcast that you did, and I think you mentioned a few times before your brother, just the importance of family and family for you growing up and your dad and everybody surrounding you. Just the experiences you've been able to have with them and with your brother. I know you've done a couple of ventures with him. Just wanted to talk through that a little bit and
most important relationship is if you have a brother. I think everybody that has a brother, if you don't have a like wonderful relationship with them, I feel that because it's like you have someone constantly. You will your parents are there for like half of your life. You have them for half. You have your kids for another half, but your siblings are the only ones that are there the entire course of your life, and that is super valuable. And yeah, I have two great siblings, but me and my brother did grow up wrestling together, and he is 6 years older, so he was able to have like a coach and was not, I wouldn't say father figure, but he did play a super developmental role in my life and how I handled stuff, and honestly, just like making sure I was the toughest version of myself that I could possibly be. I think he did a pretty good job of that. Maybe too good of a job. I might have had to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great brother, is a great brother, and I am constantly blessed to have him, and just all my family, his kids, and other nieces and nephews, my parents, having everybody close. It is something I would not trade. Um, Maybe a trip to Mars, I would have to reconsider that.
Yeah, well,
But
once we hashtag Elon in on this, I think we're all going.
yeah, so that Mars trip, might have to get some family member invites. I'll just sign them up now. So
Yeah,
if
just get a
Elon
plus
is,
plus five.
It's like a wedding invite.
fine with it, they'll be good with it. So yeah, they can come.
Yeah, I hear you. I have a sister. I don't have a brother. But Mark, Kyle, Derek, Matt, bunch of guys, close friends. I consider my brothers. I consider them family. So even though they're not blood, I kind of hear what you're saying. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd be able to. A group of us meet every Thursday night, 4 or 5 of us, just to stay in touch, and that's been ever since I moved down to North Carolina, and we
Y'all
read
just
through.
get together on like
Yeah,
Skype.
yep.
Neat.
Skype, Google Hangouts. We go through a book, read a chapter or two, go through it, talk about family, talk a little bit about faith, a little bit about friends, catch up on each other's lives, and stay relevant. So definitely hear you there. It's a very important part of my life as well. So that's why I wanted to kind of hit on that to wrap up.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. I appreciate y'all letting me join, and sorry that it was so hard to get me on here. 14th time is the charm.
Hey, it
And
is, and that's why Mark was having his computer issues. We're like, oh no, we finally got him.
I
So
feel like I have to be on a GFS call tomorrow, and this feels a lot like a GFS call. I'll be honest.
hey, but we didn't have to talk about Flounder. We talked a little bit about Pollock.
I'm gonna be
But
grilling the team tomorrow on just like totally obscure and irrelevant things because now I'm in podcast mode. So
yeah,
they're gonna be getting questions about trips to Mars, and yeah,
Incorporate the weave into the normal GFS call and just start going everywhere with it.
I feel like they will hate
yeah.
me for that.
We're out of stock on this, that, and the other thing, but have you guys ever thought about going to Mars?
Yeah.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
having a conversation with him.
What is
But
your view on Elon?
but Matthew, appreciate it, man. Very glad to get you on. Good to get to know you. Good to keep catching up, and I'm sure I'll run into you in the sauna cold plunge here shortly, and
Cool.
we'll stay in touch. Appreciate you, brother. And as always, episode 15, haven't spilled the mixie, and have a good day, everybody.